All right. Hello, Latina professional mamas. This is Adriana Samuels. I am so grateful to be here with you. Today is a very exciting topic. As I was talking to Livy just a moment ago, our special guest, Livy, I was letting her know that this is perfect because thriving in a work from home environment, it's crazy. It's crazy. So I'm really excited to introduce Livy, who's going to talk to us about thriving in a work from home environment. And girl, like I was just saying to you, I'm living this right now. My kids are home. They were home since last week.
Oh my.
And they go to school tomorrow. It is Jesus is coming back because I'm so excited that they go to school tomorrow. And I do have to make dinner. And when I put on the post with, oh my God, I'm out of adobo because you have to do a million different things along with work. I'm legitimately out of adobo. So after this call, I'm going to have to go get that so I can cook. But anyway, ladies, I know you guys are coming in and I'm so grateful that you guys are here. So please say hello and let me introduce my guest. Livy, please introduce yourself and tell us a little about yourself.
Sure. So good morning on my end of the country. And just a quick thank you to you and Latina Professionals for having me as a guest. Again, my name is Livy Holguin. I am a senior product manager at Kaiser Permanente. I am a mom of two boys. I have a 6-year-old and a 2-year-old boy. So their energy is way through the roof. I'm married. I live in the greater Los Angeles area. I am the daughter of two Mexican immigrant parents who just, is living what we were taught to do, which is go to college, get a master's, be a professional. And the reason I'm here is because all those words have collided in light of us working from home. And I wanted to offer some tips on how to thrive and survive during these very unique times.
Hello?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry.
I disconnected.
All good.
Please, Livy, please continue. I apologize.
Okay, great. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of background as to, why I'm really excited and passionate about this topic and how we came up with it. So first of all, I'm so passionate about helping women thrive in the work environment as a professional working woman. But I did have kids later on in life, and having that role and then also as a working professional has always been a very unique experience to me, just because I'm literally like first generation college student, but also a first generation working professional and managing and navigating through all those dynamics while balancing the traditional roles of what I was taught as what is a successful mom, what is parenting like. And so one thing that I have noticed is that in the work from home environment, a lot of those roles get blurred or they get exacerbated. And I think because we're always alone or because everything is just so remote, whether it's a communication or something in person, you might feel alone. And so for a good amount of time, I was feeling really, really alone. And I also felt very guilty because here I am as a working professional, utilizing all of my degrees, making very good money to support my family, and feeling guilty and lonely and frustrated, and complaining that I had to drop a phone call because I had to go pick up my kid who was sick, or in between calls I'm trying to make dinner. In the past, like if you were a working mom, you didn't have the luxury of that. You didn't have that flexibility of time. You dealt with the commute. You dealt with a boss that maybe wasn't understanding of your, home responsibilities. Also, I grew up with a mom that stayed at home. So a lot of my images and my understanding of what it was to be a mother was picking up my kids right after school, was having snack ready for them, was helping them with their homework off the bat, and having everything done by 5. And now that is completely different. So I found myself really struggling with, as I mentioned, that traditional role that I think most of us have grown up with, whether it was an indirect or a direct teaching from our moms or tias or, everybody in our family. And then this new life and this new way of working. And it's so funny because, they always say, be careful what you wish for. Well, pre-pandemic, I really wanted to work from home full time. And part of the guilt that I carried was, well, I got what I wanted. So why does it feel so heavy? Like, why does it feel so overwhelming? Like moments of like that I just wanted to burst out crying, or I just felt overwhelmed.
Oh,
Um, but
yeah.
it is a unique experience. I think you can relate to that, right?
Yeah, it's all the time. It's I think that again we talk about it on several different times of our show where it's like, you know, we are always trying to overcompensate. We're just it's never
Yeah.
good enough. Like we're a worse judge, right?
Yes. Yes.
Dinner, we have meetings, and we're always trying to be the best our best selves all the time, all the time.
Yeah.
It's like it's you never get a break. It feels like you don't never get a breath for yourself, and that's why, you know, I've told women that you know you need to take 5 minutes. Start with 5 minutes. If you can
Yeah.
take 5 minutes for yourself, you know.
Yeah.
So it's hard. And
Yeah.
what would you say your biggest breaking point? Like there's we all have one, and I'll tell you mine after you tell you. Like
Yeah.
we all have that breaking point where you're like, all right, now what?
I mean, it wasn't a one breaking point. It was just a series. And just what I noticed was after work, I would just lie down and I wasn't playing with my kids. I was just so
Mm,
overwhelmed. I
mm,
felt like I was falling into a depression. But
yeah.
again, that guilt that I had of like, what are you complaining about? You know, like you're not doing hard labor, you're not doing X, Y, you're not commuting like you have a flexible schedule and te estás desmayando and like it's so hard on you. So I think it was realizing that I didn't have like that same energy to be with my kids after I
Mm,
picked them up from daycare and be present. And whether it was playing with them or engaging with them or whatever it was, I felt like things need to change and I need to start understanding what is this heaviness. And I journaled about it. And then, you know, just talking to my girlfriends, it started to come to light where I was like, oh, you feel the same? So do I. And just really, you know, making that visible and not feeling alone anymore. And again, in that
beautiful.
practice, I've been also adapting some best practices that I feel has been really helpful for me and also my friends to just best navigate this. And I think it's a work in progress too.
Well, I know I would benefit
Yeah.
from any best practices because sometimes I feel like I do it right, and
Yeah.
sometimes it's just I got to be honest. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
really hard. So
Yeah.
please please do
Sure.
share because
Sure. So I think the number one tip that I have is just owning and accepting where you're at. Give yourself permission to feel those feelings.
mm,
You are overwhelmed. You're not weak. This is hard. This is a new work environment. And we are still really trying to understand what this means. Some of
mm,
us may have a hybrid schedule. Some of us are likely never going to go back to the office, you know?
yeah.
And I've also found myself even mourning that culture too, because I've never foresaw it for myself. So I think owning it, embodying it, just recognizing it, like put away the shame, put away the guilt. This is exactly where you are at. And it is okay. Like if anyone has an opinion about it, that's their opinion. And we all know what to do. Just do your best not to like let that override you. But this is I want to validate your feelings. Okay. Your feelings are validated and your experience is validated. So number one, definitely own that. Secondly, the rest of the tips are much more like tactical. Do have a set schedule. So I know it's so easy to think like, okay, I am working from home, so I don't need to get ready, or I can do this, or I can do laundry and I can blah, blah, blah. Yes, we have that flexibility, but set a schedule. So for myself, I still get up at like 5 in the morning to journal, have my cafecito, get my head ready. At
Mm,
5:30, I do work out at home. Sometimes it's 15 minutes if the kids, my kids are early risers, by the way, like that's hard. So
mm,
sometimes my kids come in and I have to like atenderlos or they don't, right? So 5:30, I'm in my garage working out. I used to live in a condo. I used to do it in a spare room. So just find any little space. But again, back to Adriana's point, like self-care, like that is my self-care is the journaling and doing some form of exercise, if you will. And then I have my work hours. During work hours, and it was hard at first, I do not touch the house. The house is what it is. If there's a reguero, there's a reguero. I'm not going to pick it up because unless it's in my immediate workspace where I do need to focus, like I can't, because it takes time away from my job, and it takes time away from my focus of what work I need to produce and who I need to collaborate with. So definitely come up with a schedule. Like, don't put that out the window, because that's just your to-do list. That just helps you, because we all have a bunch of open tabs. So it just helps you stay on task. Like, okay, like right now, this is what I'm focused on. And if you do need to squeeze in those little like chores, if you will, look at your week in review, like from the beginning of the week, like on Sunday. Like, when can I realistically have maybe a little bit of wiggle room? I'll do it then, right? So just stick to a schedule. Speaking of that, and this one was a little tricky, assign zones in your home. So again, we are working from home, but don't get in the habit of working from your couch, which was a huge mistake I made, because then I started associating my couch with work, and I didn't want to like sit there and watch movies with my family, right? Or it wasn't like my living room no longer became a living area for me and my family, it became like a work zone. So I want to say it with utmost care and understanding that not everyone has a home, and not everybody and everyone's living situation might look differently. I do have a loft, and it's a play area, so it's not like my own office, but I have decided work stays here. Doesn't matter how tired I am, like it has to stay here, so I can also enjoy the rest of my house, and I can enjoy the rest of my living areas. It doesn't, it's like kind of working like in your bed. Like, that's, for me, that's downtime, that's sleep. Like that's what it's for. I'm not going to mess with it. So do your best to designate zones. And if you have shared spaces, just again, do your best to make sure like this is what it is. So as you can see here in my background, like I do have some artwork up. I have some faux plants, right? I mean, there's a hot mess in front of me because my kids were using it this weekend because it's the playroom. But it does give me a feeling that I have an office, and this is a dedicated space, because when you're working from home, it is 24/7. So you have to put in a little bit of effort to kind of like, as I mentioned, create those zones. Another area is setting boundaries. Everybody hears about that. I'm sure everyone's all sick of it. It's not necessarily setting boundaries with your work. I feel like I don't have an issue with that. And I'm very lucky that my job respects my boundaries. They don't expect us to be online after 5, etc. If you have to set those, fine. But through the Latina perspective, I feel like people depend on us. So, and a lot of us don't have these work from home, jobs, that people don't understand that like we're busy working, or if we're not in a meeting, like as I mentioned, we're producing work, we're creating, we're updating schedules, we're still working. So setting the boundaries with your family, whether it's your partner or your spouse, like I can't do quick errands for you, or I can't, like a technician needs to come in, they need to come at a certain time, or even with your family, your parents. Like I know a lot of us end up supporting our parents or taking care of them. It does not mean you love them less, but setting those boundaries of like, I'm willing to help you, not during these times. So that way you have peace of mind, so you can focus on your work as well. And then the last two I want to bring up, and it goes without saying, like we all need that connection, but if you're not intentional, it really can just slip through your hands. Make time to connect with your friends, whether it's in person or virtually. And trust me, I am tired of the virtual world. I totally get it. But sometimes that is all that I have. So I do schedule like coffee dates with my coworkers, or I call them like coffee chats. It's like 20 minutes, we just talk about whatever. But I'm really intentional about that because I need that human connection. I also make sure that I talk to my girlfriends on a daily basis, whether it's like a quick text or I get them on the phone, because I need that. And then again, just depending on your schedule, it is hard for me to see like my friends in person. I feel like we have to schedule things like weeks in advance, but I don't let that bother me. I just make sure that I have something on the calendar at least once a month, and that activity is something that we love, whether it's hiking, yoga, brunch, it's a place for us to just connect, because I thrive of that connection. Like
Yeah.
my mom friends and my coworkers who are in similar situations, they make me feel seen. They make me feel, connected. And that's something that I also can offer them. So don't let time keep going by and not connecting with your friends. And lastly, and I always hated this one, but honestly, it's true. Be flexible. Like your schedule, your mindset, your priorities are going to change. I would say maybe every 3 months. At least that's how it is for me, especially now that I have a school age child. I realize like the first semester, like here until the end of the year, it's going to be one way. Then when January hits, it's going to be differently. I mean, our kids are always growing. They are hitting new milestones. They're developing in different ways. What my 6-year-old needs is going to differ from my 2-year-old, but their growth is rapid. So what may work right now for me right now in September may not work for me in December or in January in a few years. But I've learned that that's what it is. So I need to reassess my schedule, my mood, what's on my plate, what are the priorities for the kids, how can we support them. And so I feel like all of that has helped me. And again, not everyone's situation is the same. I am married. I do have a partner. We do the best we can to do, like 50-50 to the best of our abilities.
Yeah.
But I communicate all of that to him. I do the best to say, hey, I'm overwhelmed. And, obviously he's there to support me. And we work together on everything with the house and everything with the kids. I know that may not be the case for some women. And I'm not here to make you feel a certain way about it. I just wanted to be really clear about my experiences and what has worked for me. But I'll be honest, I drive a lot of these conversations. And because I am home, sometimes I do feel like the default parent, right? Like someone's sick, I got to drop everything and pick them up and take care of them throughout the day. My husband goes into an office. He doesn't have that flexibility. I can't fight with him on that. That's just his job. It is what it is. But
isn't that frustrating? Like, I don't know.
It is frustrating though. I'm not gonna say it doesn't suck, right? But I do sometimes feel like a default parent, and we do communicate a lot and work through it. And I think honestly, it's just always going to be a conversation about that, because life happens.
And I tell you, it does. But I think it's because sometimes when I know from working from home that sometimes I feel that my husband, the kids, they think I'm just home. I'm not doing anything. I'm not working. Right.
Oh God. Like, yes.
No. The door's closed, the door's locked, but they're coming in through the other door. Like the door's locked. They see I'm talking. They can hear I'm talking. It's so frustrating. And sometimes I would say I sometimes miss the office environment, because it kind of gives that break where you can just be Adriana, the executive, Livy, the executive. Like it's not, and then it's not. So it's like you have to have too many hats. And you have taught me a whole lot, because I have probably, if this was a test, I probably would have failed, because I do bring my phone around, you know what I mean? Because I figure, okay, well, let me totally finish this email while something's marinating, between commercials, getting these last things done. It seems like I can't turn off, and I haven't given myself those boundaries. And I feel that at a certain level of my career that I just can't do it. But I think that might be something that I'm also going to have to challenge myself, is to create those boundaries, so that way I can have that space in my home that's mine, not necessarily the work and so forth. So that's really, really great suggestion. I think the ladies are starting to chime in here too.
I know. I was trying to read through it, and I'm glad that it's really resonating with a lot of the viewers here.
It is. And I think that the reason why I love this platform so much is that it gives us opportunity to be vulnerable with each other. And I know from a fact that when it comes to being an executive Latina professional woman, I'm trying to wear too many hats and trying to kill it all the time. And I'm trying to be perfect at everything. And I can't. I can't. And I have to understand that, you know what, I'm the best me. And the way I'm going to be the best me is to start creating those boundaries for myself, is
Yeah.
to create that rest, that opportunity to spend time with friends, spend time outside. And sometimes I feel jealous. Sometimes when I hear my people, hey, I'm going here, I'm going there, I'm going there. I'm like, dude, I have to be here for the kids here. I got to go to a work event here, and oh my God, I got to do the laundry. I gotta get the books. School starts tomorrow. I can't even tell you all the crap I got to do and about after this call. I gotta make sure I have all the supplies. It's just like, yeah, it's a lot on us, and I feel that sometimes if we don't stop, we're gonna burn out.
Yeah.
And I
Like,
have to be honest, Livy, I almost did. Like I
yeah.
legitimately, I had that breaking point where I just didn't want to do anything. I came to a
Yeah.
point where I go into the bathroom and I'm just hiding in the bathroom for quiet.
Right.
That's the problem.
Yeah, I can totally relate. And as I mentioned, I didn't have a catastrophic breakdown, but just noticing that I had no energy to even engage with my family. I even started like just resenting everyone. To
Mm,
me, that was a huge red flag that things needed to change. And it's still a work in progress. But I think, one thing I recognized was number one, owning what I felt. I think,
mm,
and when I started talking to you about it and we were relating these stories, and you're an entrepreneur and I'm in the corporate world, it's still very taxing. And I saw a comment too that I can relate with Trina. We never get a break and never get credit for all we do. And I agree. Like, I feel like it's like around the clock, two roles that I just love about myself and love about my life. I love being a mother, and I work so hard to be this working professional and land the roles that I've landed. But when they were just going like this, like it was just too much.
mm,
Too much. And I know a lot of the guilt drove some of those decisions. So,
mhm,
for example, the boundaries, I realized I didn't need to set boundaries with work. I had no problem setting boundaries with them. I realized I had to do kind of like a reversal and set boundaries at home, like
mhm.
set the boundaries of like not cooking every single day, not like, cleaning up every single minute of the day. Like that, I still was like, I can't do that because there are other people living here that can help me. And even though they're little, my kids still help. I still have those chores for them. And obviously my partner and I, we split it up, but it was this cloudy minute where I was just absorbing everything. And I was like, well, soy la mamá, moms do this, moms cook every day, moms blah, 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 and I was burning out myself.
Yeah.
And I'm really passionate about this topic because I do think it is a new world for a lot of us. Like some people, as I mentioned, have hybrids, and some people can go back to the office, and I can as well, and I'll touch on that. But
Yeah.
the majority of us, like, we are literally at home. And
Mm,
I do feel trapped at home sometimes. And
mhm,
I do have to force myself to get some sunlight because that's healthy for me, and
mhm.
make sure that I feel it on my face, because I can work and work and work and work. Before I know it, it's like 5 o'clock. It's time to pick up the kids and do dinner. And there's like no transition. So I think I felt really guilty for that for so long because, we're the daughters of immigrants. We're the daughters of people who work hard on the field or in
Yeah.
service jobs, like really like laborious work. And how dare I complain about working from home and feeling overwhelmed? Like,
Yeah.
and these experiences, they're very different, and I honor where I come from. I think that's what made me feel so terrible for so long. But this is my reality, and
Yeah.
this is my life, and this is a new reality for many women,
Mhm,
um, for many Latinas. And I see you, I hear you. What
mhm.
you feel is validated, it's normal. And I think that's like the number one thing I want people to walk away with, is
Yeah.
that it's real. It is real to feel overwhelmed working from home and wearing all the hats and doing all the things. So no
Yeah.
shame in that.
And got to get rid of the guilt. You have to. I think it's a culture. I'm telling you, even a culture, because my family, they're from the boat of Ecuador, right? So
Mhm.
the women didn't wear pants, dresses, it's just very, the culture is just very strict. And the women always cook, the women do everything, they clean the house, but no one told you the handbook of when you're actually working too. So
Yeah.
if we're expect the expectation of women having to do everything in the household and take care of the husband, take care of the children, and take care of everything, but then still provide, then it's like, okay, you're feeling guilty. Then it's
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing anything right. I am just I. It's like, oh my God, give yourself a break. I need to give myself a break. We all need to
Yeah.
give ourselves a break. Our
Yeah.
culture is beautiful. You know why? Because we're family oriented. We're
Yes.
about love, kindness, respect. Oh, that word RESPECT. That's what we're about. We're about that foundational, but we as women need to just understand and give us a break, ourselves a break. Don't be
Yeah.
guilty. Look at count your wins. Like I
Yeah.
always be like, count your wins. I tell my team all the time, like if you feel like you lost at something and it's an L, if you learn something, it becomes a W and it turns into a win. We have to
Yes.
count our wins, ladies, because we are killing it. We're awesome. Our kids are fine. Everyone is completely fine. It's us that's going absolutely crazy. You know?
Exactly. Exactly. And I'm glad that a lot of the points we're bringing up, again, it's resonating with
It
the
is.
participants. I'm reading some of the comments, and yeah, I mean, honestly, being daughter of immigrants, like I carry that guilt of like, how dare I? Who
Mm,
am I to complain about this when my dad would wake up at 1 a.m. to go pick up produce and deliver it all, throughout all of LA and deal with racism and people treating him like crap because he didn't speak good English. And here I am with like my cozy job, in my playroom, like, but at the same time, these are real stressors. And as we know, as mothers, if we don't take care of ourselves, we can't be there for our family. We can't be there. We can't show up the best that we can for our children. And that is what really drives me to make these changes and to own how I feel, because they deserve that mom. They deserve a mom that's just like thriving and feeling good, and just, not seeing me so depressed or just low with energy. And like, I want that. I want that for them. I want that for myself. I want to experience and remember motherhood, feeling like those connection points with my kids, not, oh my God, I worked and worked and worked and worked and worked, and now they're out the door. Like, what happened? So it's also for me to experience the beauty of motherhood as well. And we have to think about it. We have to give ourselves some grace. Yes, we got to own it. And where possible, schedule this out. Where possible, tell people you need help, tell them to come help you.
mm,
Say it like it is, whether it is from your partner, from your parents, from whatever. you know I know I do hear of a lot of women also talking about lack of villages, and I get that too, trust me.
mm.
So I know it's not as readily available, but if you do have someone to help, I mean, seek it, even if it's a paid service. If you need someone to come and clean your house and that's affordable to you, do it, get it done, right? Like one less thing on your plate. And you live here, so it's like you might as well have it clean so you can focus on your work as well.
Absolutely, Livy. You're a light. You're a light. You're a light. You're a lighthouse. And you've taught me a lot. You've given me something to really think about for myself, and I'm sure the other ladies feel the same way.
Yeah.
And I know that we all are in a different spot in our life. We're in a season, and I don't know what your season is. And if we've touched your heart, or maybe there's other things that we didn't reach and we did not talk to you about or touch. Please comment. Let us know
Mhm.
what you need to hear from us, what we can do to help you, because you are not alone. And that is my
Mhm.
biggest thing that I want you all to know. You are not alone. And it might not be me, it might not be Livy, but someone in this area, someone in this Latina professional mama is going through what you're going through.
Yep.
So speak your piece, speak your truth, put your comments in. Think of topics that you want us to discuss in this forum, because we want to talk to you, for you. And ladies, if there's someone out there right now that's feeling depleted and is tired and is emotionally drained, is feeling like that default parent, is feeling like there's no hope and there's no light, I promise you it is a season. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Keep on going, because you will get through it. You will get through it no matter what. And always reach out to your network. Network. If you don't have a network, reach out to any one of these ladies that are on this chat right now, because they are talking and they're speaking their mind. Feel free to reach out to me. Feel free to reach out to Livy. Livy is in mental health. She is in the profession of mental health. And I'll let you close on that so you can give your information if any woman needs to communicate with you.
Sure.
But I want you to know, ladies, you are not alone. This forum is for you. I'm speaking my truth as vulnerable as I possibly can, and for us to grow as a network, you need to do the same. So I am so grateful. I'll let Livy close out to tell her a little about how you can reach out to her if you need anything. I'm just letting you know you're all special, ladies, and I love you.
Thank you so much. Again, my name is Livy Holguin. I do work at Kaiser Permanente. I work with benefits and products. And I am available, through LinkedIn, or you can follow me on Instagram with Livy_Holguin. It is a private page, so make sure you shoot me an email. I am very selective of who I get in my circle with my kids. But send me a message on LinkedIn. I am not a coach, but I am always happy to be another thought partner, or if you just want to connect virtually and just chat, I am open to that. Like, I am here to serve you and connect with you. And I have to comment, I know we're out of time. I'm seeing a lot of like ladies wanting to do a mastermind or a coffee chat, and I would love to see us like get a group going. So I think that's something that could spawn from this. Like, we could now like move forward and ideate some of those things. But there is a need for connection, is what I'm really like seeing here.
Yeah, there is a need for connection. And ladies, we want to hear, I haven't chose the next topic, so let me know what our next topic should be. I am open to anything. And I love to have guests on the show. There's something that you're passionate about, and there's something you want to discuss. Let's talk about it. Let's be honest, because I'm telling you, there's about another million women that are having the same issue. And if we can't discuss it and be open about it, then who is? I mean, we're Latina women. We tell it how like it is. So let's just be real, ladies. And anyway, thank you so much, all of you. You have a great day. And Livy, thank you for your time. It was a blessing
for having
to
me
have you on the show, and I hope to have you on again.
Likewise. Thank you so much. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.